George Schlatter had hired me to be in a TV show called The Best of Times, and made me happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, for a first movie, that's pretty
And
incredible.
there was another one, well,
Bringing Out the Dead.
not Bringing Out the Dead, Dreams. There's other ones, Bringing Out the Dead and While at Heart. Movies like that are terrific, but they kind of evolved. Whereas this one on the page, I knew right away that I have to play this part.
What even got you to read the script? Is there a log line or something that grabs your attention?
Well, first of all, two of my favorite words are in the title, dream and scenario. And you just put them together and you say it just feels so good. Dream, scenario, dream, scenario. I was asking her to go on Kimmel, and I was going to not stop doing that, but it didn't work out. I was going to try to get the orchestra in on and get everybody to just not stop until it went into the abstract and it became a dream scenario and flip everybody out. It didn't happen. I had a red suit for it and everything. Okay. But that came to me because of Ari Aster, believe it or not. He, who I'm a huge admirer of from Midsummer and Hereditary, he was talking with me about perhaps doing an episodic on television. And he sent me these interesting scripts, but it just, something didn't really land for me with that. But then he sent me Dream Scenario. And I read it right away and I thought, I think I understand what Paul Matthews feels like. You know, people weren't dreaming about me, but there was this thing happening on the internet, this sort of viral mashup thing happening, and it kept growing, and it was completely viral and going around the world. And I thought, I don't know what to do with this. This is making me feel strange, and then finally when the script came along, I knew that I could apply those emotions to Paul's situation.
Now, Christopher, the writer-director, he says he didn't write this for you, but it seems like such perfect casting. And when you said yes, he did make some adjustments to the script to incorporate, he's got an expert here on what that might feel like, so.
Yeah, he didn't write it with anyone in mind, but I knew right away that it was perfect. I didn't want to change a word. And I had so much admiration for him because of what he accomplished with this script. And I had seen a couple of his short films, one in particular, Ear. And he was the star of Ear. And I'm here to tell you now, he is a great actor. And I can't wait to see him become the total filmmaker. And when I say total filmmaker, I'm talking about with Jerry Lewis. He wrote that book. And Jerry thought that if you really want to be a filmmaker, you have to do it all. You have to write the music, you have to write the script, you have to cut the movie, you have to direct the movie, you have to produce the movie, you have to star in the movie. And I can't wait to see Christopher star in his next feature film.
I would love that.
Nicolas Cage loses his shit, which was just like montage of me freaking out without Act 1 or Act 2 or how the character got to that level of meltdown. And then I saw it turning to t-shirts, and then I saw things start happening like Nicolas Cage and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, what is going on? So yeah, I signed up to be a film actor. I did. I wanted to do what we all are doing. But this was in the 80s that I signed up. We didn't have computers and the internet. I didn't sign up for that. So when it was happening, it was like I'm frustrated. I'm confused. I'm a little stimulated. I think. But then I was like, what do I do with this? And it wasn't until Dream Scenario that I was able to go, yes, now I can take this lead and be an alchemist and turn in just a little bit of gold and do something constructive with it rather than destructive. Because there were some dark days where I was just like, what am I? I'm a meme. What am I? What happened to me? So this movie, that was very cathartic.
Yeah.
It was important to kind of separate whatever so-called me, Nick Cage's presentation is from Paul Matthews. I didn't want folks to think about whoever I am, as if possible. So it was important to, Christopher changed the nose a little bit, and we removed the hair, and we changed the clothing style, and the way I moved was more of a lumbering gait. But the most important change, which I asked Christopher to think about, was the voice. Because I find that people recognize me more from my voice than my appearance. I could, if I'm just in the back of a McDonald's and just say something, then someone knows, they said, well, I'm in the McDonald's. So I knew I had to change the voice. And I thought maybe a little higher voice. Have you been dreaming about me? And that kind of would maybe separate so-called Nick from Paul.
Well, I mean, you are Spider Noir, so I can understand why people hear the voice and instantly pick up.
Well, it's interesting as actors. My heroes growing up were Golden Age film stars who were all very imitable. They all had fascinating voices, more than almost like anything else. It was the voice. You want to be able to imitate them. The Cagneys or the Bogarts, the Betty Davis. You get hooked to the sound of a film actor. And when I first started, I thought my voice was very weak. I thought it was like high and kind of weak. And I actually spent time kind of developing my Mojave drawl.
Okay, dream, scenario, and
Julianne and I and the other actors, Michael, Sarah, he wasn't able to do it except on Zoom we could get him, just so we could hear the dialogue and make adjustments. But I knew in that rehearsal process very quickly what the tone was. I think that's one of the most one of the most important things for any actor is to really get in step with what the director's opinion is as to what the tone is going to be. Because you never want to be overly dramatic. If they're making a screwball comedy, then you look ridiculous, So you really got to find the tone, and they're calling the shots because they're going to cut it. And that's one of the things that I really admire about Christopher is he is an editor as well, and he does his own editing, which is why I think the movie really works. Because it keeps the rhythm. He really got his finger on the pulse of the rhythm of the overall piece because he's cutting it. He's cutting it in his mind as he's shooting it, and he's cutting it in post.
I think it's so impressive that he edits his own stuff, and I think it's like almost the final stage of screenwriting. But when I asked him why he did it, he said that he's the cheapest.
Well, he does have as you probably can tell, a wicked sense of humor. I mean, he really has a great sense of comedy. He's like that. He'll play things off, and he doesn't want to be self-aggrandizing. He'll throw it all away like that.
Again, I mean it as a compliment.
Make it in the movie, and it's a truncated moment now. But there was a scene where Julianne Nicholson and I had come home and I found that Intelligence, the magazine, was there, and my previous alumni had stolen the idea, and Paul Matthews really freaked out, and it got pretty hot. And there was a big argument scene, and I could tell Christopher wasn't happy with the way it was going, and I ultimately wound up cutting it. Maybe it would have been too hot for the Paul Matthews character.
Or it might have ended up in that montage of you losing your shit.
Well, there's no doubt it would have. I'm just waiting. Now I'm actually curious, you see. I'm kind of like, made friends with it now. Yeah, I'm part of that thing, the mean machine. Let's do it. What do you guys got? What's next?
Like you ever do a take and think, that's going in the montage.
Actually, yes. I have. I can't remember what the line was. It might have been stolen from a meme. I think Paul Schrader was directing Dog Eat Dog, and at one point my character in that movie goes, "You don't say." And Paul wanted me to do it, so I did one like that, did the whole vampire's kiss eyes thing and all that, but it didn't make it in the movie. But I did do a take for that reason. Yeah.